Hello, dear students. Let's resume our discussion on linear queue using arrays. In the previous videos, we saw how to insert a value and how to delete a value from linear queue. And in the video where we saw how to delete a value, sorry, I missed out a semicolon here because this is declaration of the function. Anyway, while deleting an element from the queue, we saw what are the problems that can occur and what is the disadvantage of linear queue. Now let's see how do you display a linear queue. It's very straightforward. It's the job of a for loop. Just imagine that I have a queue where three values have been stored: 10, 20, 30, 10 being the frontmost because front is 0, and 30 is the rearmost because rear is 2. And we want to display these values. You know that the output should be 10, 20, 30 because 10 was inserted first, so it should be displayed first. Let's see how does display work. As usual, we are passing address of the queue to the display. So P points to the queue. Now, first things first, in the display, we will ask, is front -1? Now, if front is -1, then there is nobody standing in the front of the queue. That means the queue is empty and there is nothing to display, isn't it? So if this condition is true, then we are going to print queue underflow, or rather queue is empty and there is nothing to display. But what if front is equal to -1 is false? As you see here, front is 0. So we will land in else and we will display the queue. Now it's a simple work of a for loop where a counter I is started with P arrow front. So obviously I will be 0 because P arrow front is 0. And each time the loop repeats, I plus plus is done. So next time I will be 1. Next time I will be 2. Each time the loop repeats. And loop takes I up to P arrow rear. And notice P arrow rear is exactly 2. So in this example, we'll repeat for I is equal to 0, 1, 2. And each of that elements is displayed. So first time AI means A0 because I is 0. Next time it is A1. Next time it is A2. So all these values 10, 20, 30 will be displayed. Before we close the discussion on display, it is so important to see the significance of that if statement. Let's say I don't care about underflow. Okay, I'm just erasing a few things. Give me some time. Let's say that in this function, I did not care about the underflow. I did not check this and I simply wrote the for loop. Now, what if the queue is empty? What will happen? If the queue is empty, remember, both front and rear are -1. I hope you understand that. If queue is empty, if there is nothing in the queue, then front and rear are -1. And without checking for underflow, if I directly write the for loop, then I will begin with -1 because front is -1 and I will go up to -1. That means this loop will repeat once. And height is, it will try to display a of -1. That's ridiculous. There's no such element. So it's better, it's good, it's actually accurate, first of all, to check underflow. And if it is not underflown, if there is something to display, only then go to else and print the queue from front to rear. I have written one more function, destroy, but as usual, it's not necessary, as I have been telling you in past videos, but destroy will destroy all the elements of the queue instantly. And the best way to destroy a linear queue using array is make front and rear abruptly -1. So if the queue was storing, let's say 10, 20, 30, 0 to 2 elements, and third and fourth were not used, and you know that front is 0 and rear is 2. So these are the valid elements of the queue, and you suddenly make front and rear equal to -1. That means now these elements are as good as not there, because front and rear, if become -1, it means that the queue becomes empty. So we have destroyed entire elements of the queue. But I repeat, this is hardly used. Okay, that's why I did not discuss this in any of the previous videos. By the way, the main program is menu driven, and option 2 was delete. As we saw, option 3 is display, case 3 is display. case 4 is destroy, case 5 is exit, and this is how the main has been designed. On top of everything, on top of main, I have declared all the functions, although I lost the semicolon here. Functions have been defined below main. The entire body of the insert function, entire body of the empty function are written below main. So in such situations, you know the fundamentals, I hope so. The functions must be declared above main. So all the declarations have been made. I hope you have understood linear queue. I will join you again in the next video with circular queue, and we will try to remove the disadvantage of the linear queue. We will discuss the disadvantage again in that video, and then we will go for circular queue. Thank you very much.